The UFC rankings are out, and we are on the road to UFC 201. I'm Matt Parrino.
I'm Forrest Griffin. I'm going to Monday morning quarterback the shit out of Chicago on a Wednesday. Monday morning quarterbacking on a Wednesday. Can't even handle that. Let's do it.
So you'll notice if you take a look at the rankings that it looks like somebody took a bomb to the 135-pound women's rankings. All shook up. Holly Holm lost to Valentina Shevchenko, who moves up 4 spots to take the number 3 spot behind Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate at number 1. Holm drops to number 4 behind her Juliana Pena. Let's make some sense of all of this for us. Let's start with Pena.
Well, first let's talk about the fight itself. Everybody, oh my God, Holly Holm looked horrible. No. Holly Holm, a notorious counter fighter, fought a slightly quicker counter fighter, and when she had Shevchenko on the fence, she didn't wrestle her. The only time they got to the ground, she was on the bottom. She was the bigger, stronger, slower fighter. She had more pop to her punches. She should have made it more of a grind. She should have pushed her more. I didn't think it was a bad performance. I just thought she's fighting another southpaw. Even southpaws have trouble with other southpaws. And she was fighting somebody very quick who was able to get in, strike, and get out. And then every time Holm tried to lead the dance later in the fight, she knew she was down on the card. She tried to get in, tried to land. Velentina Shevchenko?
Close enough.
Shevchenko, she was there, landed and moved. Great movement by her.
Juliana Pena has won all 4 in the UFC. She still sits at number 5. A lot of people have been claiming she should potentially be the next title contender. What do you make of all of it?
I have no idea. Maybe Juliana Pena, maybe Shevchenko. Remember, that was a 2-1 round fight in a 3-round fight. Nunes been no defeat in the 4th and 5th round. Shevchenko does not. She's smaller and quicker. I think maybe in a 5-round fight, she wins a decision against Nunes. It's fact, it's science.
Let's move right on to the lightweight division. Edson Barboza, huge performance, just took out Anthony Pettis. He follows that up by taking out Gilbert Melendes, who reappears on the rankings at number 14. Barboza moves into the top 5. Put it all into words for us, Forrest. What does it mean?
Well, I don't know what the rankings mean, but I can tell you what happened in the fight. Gilbert Melendes, his hands actually look good, and when he was able to land punches, he was successful. Barboza doesn't have a great chin. However, he stayed at distance, and he didn't make it a grimy, grinding fight. He shot several shots, and he got thrown off. He didn't continue. He didn't reshoot. A couple times he even had him up against the fence and kind of relinquished that. You don't win a technical fight against Edson Barboza. You grind him. Gilbert Melendes is the ultimate grinder. It was actually a decent matchup for him, but what he did was he tried to use his hands, and at points in the fight his hands looked quick, but the speed of Barboza and the leg kicks too much. Grind people. You've been grinding people for 10 years, and this guy you're gonna try to, oh, my boxing's pretty good. No, grind people.
Edson Barboza, he's at number 5 in the rankings. Great news for him. Above him, Nate Diaz, and then it's the gauntlet. Where do you see Barboza fitting into the picture here? I mean, you're probably looking at a Khabib Nurmagomedov title shot next. Maybe he fights a Rafael dos Anjos, who a lot of people are hoping for. What do you want to see for Edson next?
I think that's what he said as much in his interview. Maybe who else? He called out RDA.
He already lost to Tony Ferguson, so that might not be something that they're going to run back right away. But yeah, RDA's out there.
RDA is a good fight for him. I think either way, that's a good fight for either guy.
It's hot out here in Las Vegas. I mean, I walked to my car today.
113.
I was dripping. But you know where it's going to be really hot? Atlanta, hot Atlanta, UFC 201 this weekend. Robbie Lawler, the scariest guy on the planet, is fighting Tyron Woodley. Now, Tyron Woodley got a controversial title shot here. He's ranked at number 4. He's coming in here to face Lawler on a 1.5-year layoff. He gets to prove whether or not he was worth that title shot.
Well, you thought it was a little controversial because T. Wood has not fought in a 1.5 years. However, he was supposed to fight Johnny Hendricks. The fight fell through, no fault of his. He was promised the title shot. He waited for his title shot. It's a who's who of bad motherfuckers in the top 5. Who is he gonna fight? He wanted the title shot. I think this is a good fight for him. Nobody knows where Robbie Lawler's really at. His last fight was razor thin, and he actually got outlanded by Carlos Condit. I mean, even at his age, it's not that Robbie Lawler's old, it's the miles. I grew up watching Robbie Lawler. 2004 when he got knocked out against Nick Diaz. He's been in some of the best fights. He's been in the last 2 fight of the years, the last 2 years. How much does he have left in the tank?
2 blazing hot contenders in the strawweight division. Rose Namajunas is going to take on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Huge matchup, one of my favorite of the summer. It's in the co-main event slot where it belongs. What do you make of this matchup?
Good fight. That has become an extremely competitive weight class. Maybe not so much for the title, but more for the contender spot. So we'll see who comes out of this. There'll be a #1 contender spot on the line. I'm not really counting Carla Esparza, and Claudia just lost, so I think the winner of this fight's for the belt.
As always, go to UFC.com, get the complete rankings, and before we send you out of here, we're gonna have Forrest pronounce a couple names for us. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be memorable. Let me just point at them, and Forrest, you give us your best. There you go. Go with this one.
Caitlin Chugagian.
Caitlin Chukagian.
Say it one more time.
Chugagian.
Okay, what about this one?
Valentina Shevchenko.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Raquel Pennington. That's an easy one. That's an easy one. That's easy. Khabib Nurmagomedov.
One more time.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's not that funny, is it? Carolina Kowalczyk. Kowalczyk.
Do you see a Chuck in there anywhere?
Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
We'll see you next week.
How do you say that though? For
Kowalkiewicz.
Kowalkiewicz.